Hey everyone, James here again. If you've been following music headlines for the last few weeks, you've probably read about a decline in listenership, both on streaming platforms and at radio, and it's all being blamed on the coronavirus. But there's actually a lot more to the story, and that's what I want to talk about today. Let's start with the source of these stories. Between mid-March and mid-April, Spotify saw a 28% decline in the amount of streams for the top 200 songs on its service. However, that same trend is not applicable to all areas on the platform. Certain genres like Americana and folk and children's music and classical music have been rising, and a lot of artists have noted that their back catalog is getting a lot more streams, and I'm here to tell you why that is. Now, we've mentioned this in passing over the last few weeks, but what's currently happening in the world with the coronavirus pandemic and the quarantines and self-isolation and onslaught of non-stop news with nobody knowing what's going on, that's a version of trauma, which in its simplest terms is a deeply disturbing or distressing event, and that can have serious implications on your mental and physical health. You have all these extra worries, all this extra stress, all these concerns about things that are outside of your control, and that can make you feel scared. I know that I am, and I assume many of you are as well. And it might not surprise you to learn that all those new feelings, that concern, that rush of uncertainty is impacting the way that we listen to music. So the trends that we're seeing in music right now, with these reports of declining streams for the top 200 songs on Spotify, the reason for that is because people are turning instead to the music that they love. What a lot of experts will tell you is called comfort listening. Comfort listening, in its simplest terms, is music that makes you feel good, makes you have a sense of peace, or takes you mentally to a place where you feel better. And the reason that we have comfort listening is actually pretty interesting. Studies have shown that when people fall in love with a song, it's not unlike falling in love with a person. We develop this deep, personal relationship to a song. And despite what the song itself may be about, we tend to add our own meanings to it. We say that this song is about this thing I had to overcome, or it's about helping you get through this situation that I was going through when I first heard it. And no matter how old we get or all the other experiences in our lives, when we hear those songs again, they take us back to that place. They remind us that we're able to overcome something, get through something, or that things can be good, because right now, sometimes it doesn't feel that way. So what we've been seeing over the last month in the music industry is people returning to the things that make them feel good. And this isn't just unique to the world of music. It's happening on things like Netflix and video streaming platforms as well. People want content that's familiar. People want content that is making them feel good. They aren't necessarily looking for something challenging or something new that they have to think about too much. In fact, when you look at what's happening in individual homes, listenership through smart speakers is up over 38% in the last month, and that's a sign that families are listening to music again. And I can tell you that while there is a lot of new music coming out that's really good, most families aren't looking to New Music Friday for something to listen to. Instead, they're going to something that they already know, something that is safe for the whole family, that might be why children's music is rising, or just something that has generally good vibes. Now, when we look at top 200 songs or pop music in general, there's a very disposable nature to it. The songs that we love right now, we probably won't be talking about in 6 months or a year from now. There'll be new top 200 songs, and those will be the songs we're listening to. But when we reach these moments of fear, these pandemic moments, these uncertain moments, we don't really go back to the most popular songs from 2003 to feel good. We go back to a song that has something a little bit more personal to us. And it's kind of an interesting phenomena, right? Because the most popular things aren't always the things that we connect with the most. They're just the thing that everybody seems to like at least a little bit. And right now, people have individual needs, so they're relying on their individual tastes to inform what they listen to. Now, in the big picture, for most artists, this can be a good thing. Developed artists likely have a catalog of releases, and they have a lot of fans who think highly of those releases. So right now, fans are turning to an artist's older catalog. Maybe you're listening to that debut album that changed your life at 16 that you haven't really thought about in 5 or 6 years. Or maybe it's the band's third album that when you were young you didn't really get, but now as an adult you feel differently towards. People are going back and digging deeper into the music that they love. But if you're a young artist, and I know that a lot of people watching this channel are, you might be asking yourself, where do I fit in? How do I give my fans a sense of comfort when we don't really have a long-term relationship developed just yet? And I don't have an easy answer for you. In fact, anyone claiming that they can give you that is probably lying. But I do think that what's happening right now should inform how you make music moving forward. Because what we're learning right now, which I guess has always been true but is often easy to ignore, is that people connect the deepest with songs that they relate to, songs that they forge a personal bond with. And while there is always going to be these songs that come out of nowhere overnight, have huge streaming numbers, and then disappear immediately, that's not really the way to build a long-term career, because the artists that are thriving right now are the ones that have become deeply ingrained with their fans. They have a constant sense of engagement through all their social media. They have a relationship, for lack of a better word, with everyone that listens to their music, even if they're not actively talking to each person individually. And how they did that was through good songwriting. They're writing songs that speak about the basic human truth. They talk about love and loss and struggle and anxiety and uncertainty and overcoming what seems impossible, and sometimes not being able to overcome it and falling short, but getting back up and moving forward. They're writing songs about their personal journeys that people are aligning with their own lives and developing these lifelong relationships that, when times get tough, mean everything to the people that listen to those songs. So I can't give you something that's going to make you have that kind of material available next week or in a month from now. However, you can be writing material right now that speaks your truth and your reality, that when it comes out, if marketed well, will reach people, will change their lives, and hopefully we don't end up in another pandemic anytime soon. But whenever your individual fans fall on hard times, they will have this body of work that they can go back to, because it doesn't feel dated. When a song is really good, it never feels old. It never feels like something from yesteryear. There are songs by artists like Bob Seger or Led Zeppelin or Blondie or any number of artists that were released decades ago that if you put them on right now, thousands, if not millions of people will think it sounds as good as the day it was released, because they forged that personal connection. And that should be your goal as an artist. You want to be someone's comfort listening next time they fall on hard times. And that's what you need to be taking away from this moment right now. In a way, I think it's kind of funny that if you go to any music industry conference or you listen to any songwriter class, they'll tell you that writing a really popular song that makes it to #1 at Billboard is cool, but it doesn't really guarantee you a career. But it's not until moments like this, when we're seeing just how little most people feel deeply ingrained with the top 200, that people understand the meaning of that advice. It's not about becoming an overnight sensation. It's about building a body of work that will outlive you and perhaps many of your fans. That's the ultimate goal. That's what you should be working towards. And if you don't know how to start, if you're still lost, if you're out there struggling because you've just got all these worries in the world and you're not really sure how to tell your story, well, don't worry, because that's why Music Biz exists. And we're gonna be right here giving you new content each and every week to help you make it through this time and every time that follows this. So please click the subscribe button down below if you haven't done so already. And if you have my sincerest thanks. You make this channel possible. And really, there's only one thing left to say, and that's that I hope you take care of yourself, because you deserve it.